Alright everybody, I'm back. This video is going to be a little bit longer, I'm warning you now. It's a start to finish flyer and it usually takes me more than 10 minutes, so expect that. I'm going to make one of these bundle flyers today. So I've already decided I want to do an Apple one. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up paint.net right here. And there's paint.net. I need a background, so I want apples for my background. So what I do is I go to Google and I search apples background and I pick one I like. Sometimes this takes me more time than others. I like this green apple background right here. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the size, and if you hover over anything it's going to give you the size. So this is 2560 pixels wide by 1600 pixels tall. All of the flyers that I make for Facebook, I make 1080 by 1080 pixels. And the reason I make them that is because it's high enough definition that everybody can see what I put on there, but it's also square. And everything shows when you post it, and it shows like the previews of the pictures. It shows everything if it's 1080 by 1080. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. I have enough space on this that I can make it 1080 by 1080. If it were smaller than 1080, then I wouldn't be able to make it a 1080 by 1080 flyer. So once I have this up, I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy image, and then I'm going to come on down here to paint.net and I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to paste it in a new image. So now you can see I've got this up here. Okay, so next I'm going to grab my rectangle select. Now when you rectangle select, you can make this rectangle any size that you want, right? I want it to be a square image. So if you hold down the shift button, you can select a square and it'll keep it a perfect square for you. No matter where I move my mouse, it stays a square. So I want this to be a nice big huge square. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get me a big square. I'm going to select a square and then I'm going to come back up to image, crop to selection, and then I'm going to go to image again, and I want to resize this to make it 1080 by 1080. It's 1532 right now by 1532. Make sure maintain aspect ratio is checked, because if you don't check that and you change the width to 1080, the height will stay 1582 and it will distort your picture. So since I have the box checked, I can type in 1080 and it changed the height too, which means my picture's just going to shrink. It's not going to distort the picture at all. Alright, now I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Alright, so there's my background. That's what's going to be the back of my flyer. Now I want words on it, so I have Microsoft Word opened here. And I use Microsoft Word because I can do things like outlines and glows. I already picked out a font and a color and all of that good stuff. If you guys want to learn more about how to do this in Microsoft Word, I'll make a video on that later. For time purposes, though, I'm already done doing this. So I've got how I want it, and I'm going to highlight it and copy it, and then I'm going to come back to paint.net and I'm going to put paste in new image. Okay, the reason I'm going to do paste in new image instead of new layer, I'll tell you in just a second, but I'm going to go stick it over here in a new image. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is crop it and get rid of any excess I have on the side. Whenever I make these videos, the fan on my computer goes off. Apparently I'm heating things up with my awesomeness. So that's the fan in the background that you hear. Okay, so I'm going to crop it, image, crop to selection. And now if I go to image resize, you can see that it's 3451 pixels wide. Well, my background up here is only 1080, so I'm going to change this to 980. Actually, I'm going to make it 1000. Because I still want it pretty big. Alright, so now I can come in here and grab this, edit, paste in new layer, okay, because that's going to actually put it on top of my apples. Oh, I forgot to copy it. Okay, well, since I'm here, if I hit paste in new layer, it's going to paste exactly what I copied right here. So I'm going to show you the difference real quick. Paste a new layer, keep canvas size, and that's pasted directly from Microsoft Word. This, after I copied it and cropped it and resized it, now I'm going to hit copy, edit, paste a new layer. And now it fits, and I don't have to do a bunch of resizing. So first thing I'm going to do is come up to this piece right here, and I'm going to delete it because I don't need it. And I'm going to delete the layer, and I'm going to come back to this layer that has the apple lovers on it. And when you grab this little pointer thingy, that makes it so you can move it and resize it. So I do want this a little bit fatter, I think. So I'm just going to do this, make it a little bit bigger. And put it right up there at the top. Alright, so there's my apple lover bundle. Next thing I want to do is I want to put bars on here. So if I come in here, go to my website. Now I just downloaded a new version of Paint.net. I used to be able to just right click something and copy it and paste it into Paint.net, and it would automatically go in a ping image, which meant the background was transparent. For whatever reason, it's not doing that anymore. So I'm going to show you what I do now. So I right click, open image in new tab, and then go to that tab. You can see it's got this checkered background. That means it's transparent. So if I copy this and put it in Paint.net, it's going to have a transparent background. But again, for whatever reason, it's not working anymore in Paint.net with this new upgrade. So what I'm going to do is save image as, and I'm going to bring it in here, and I did all the other bars already. And this one was Crisp Orchard Air. And you can see I'm saving it as a ping image. When you save something as a ping image, it maintains that transparent background. If I changed it to a JPEG, it would turn the background white. I don't want the background white, so I'm going to do that. Alright, so now I have saved it. And if I come back in here to Paint.net, I'm going to go to File, Open, and I want all 6 of these. So I'm going to grab all 6 of these, and I'm going to hit Open. Oops, I copied it. It's probably going to put in 12 of them now. Let's see. And it looks like I froze some stuff up. There we go. Here they come. I was just being slow. Okay, so now you can see up here at the top I've got all 6 bars that I'm going to put in this bundle. And since my bars are pretty good color-wise, I think I'm just going to do brown, green, red for this size. So the first thing I want to do is I already know that I need to make these smaller, because if I take this, copy it, and put it on top of my apples, it's too big. I can't fit all 6 of them that size in here. So I need to make it smaller. And I already know that I need to make it 350. So I'm going to go to Image, Resize, and I'm going to make this 350. And you guys will learn how small to make stuff just by doing it and practicing a lot. So I'm going to make all of these bars 350. Alright, so now I've got them all 350. I'm going to start with this one, and we're going to do something a little bit different now. Okay, instead of resize, I want more space so that I can put more bars here. So instead of resizing this one, I want the bar to stay the same size, but I want more space to put other stuff. So I'm going to change the canvas size. So I'm going to come into the canvas size, and I'm going to put it up here in this corner, and then I'm going to change this. My banner is 1080, but I'm going to make this, let's make it 1400 so that I have plenty of room to work. And let's do 800 for height. And you can see maintain aspect ratio is not checked. So that way I can make the canvas as big as or small as I want. So now I've got this in here. I don't want it to be wide. I want it to be transparent. So I'm going to delete that. Now it's gone. Okay, so we're going to do brown, green, red. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to copy it. Copy. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to paste it in a new layer. Now, I have my ways of lining things up, and you guys can just pick up however you want to line them up, but I'm basically lining up the top of the green label with the top of this little banner with the name in it, okay? So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to line all these up. Hopefully you can keep up with me. Oh, I don't think I wanted that one. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong one. So I'm going to put this one over here because I want them to come together kind of like in a V. Okay, so brown, green, red, brown, green. So I want green next. And you can see I'm pasting in new layers each time. And you can see over here in my layers box that I'm getting all these different layers. And I'll show you what I do, don't worry. And then, let's see, that was apple s'mores, so I want crisp orchard air. Now you can also, when you're doing this, you can use the grid to line stuff up. I don't know if I'm just too lazy because I make too many flyers or what, but I don't do that anymore. Sometimes I'll do it if it's one that I really want. Like this one, I want them to be lined up. So I'm going to make sure these ones are on the same line. About the same space. Okay, so now I've got it how I want it, and I want to move these three closer to these three. So if I go and I select all of this, you can see over here that I'm on layer 7 because it's the one that's highlighted, and it's the baked apple pie bar. If I cut and try to move this, it's only going to grab that one. So I want it to grab all 3 of these layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit flatten, and that's going to turn all of this into one layer now. So everything's in one layer. So now I can copy this, or I can cut it, and I can paste a new layer, and now I can move these as close as I want. And I like them to touch. Alright, so now we've got that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten it again so it's all one piece again. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to just get what I need. Alright, and then if I come into resize, I can see how big it is. And it's smaller than 1080, so that's good enough for me, because I'm not going to shrink it too much more. So I'm just going to take this, edit, copy, come back over here to my flyer, edit, paste a new layer. Oh look, it's a pretty good size. So I'm going to stick it right here. Let's go down a little bit more. How about right there? And then I need Independent Scentsy Consultant on this, or a Scentsy logo. So if I want a Scentsy logo, which I'm not going to put a Scentsy logo, I'm going to do Independent Consultant on this. I'm going to come, I have them already saved in here. Scentsy, and then there it is. So if I come in here, I can grab, you can see some of them are ping, and then some of them are JPEG. Ping has a transparent background. JPEG does not, has a white background. So let's use white. And this, the HR means high resolution, LR means low resolution. I never use low resolution. I don't know what you use it for. I don't use it for anything. So I'm going to open this because that's what I want. And when this opens, give it a second. The fan has to go off again. This usually doesn't take this long. I think it's because I have the capture screen software running that it's taking so much longer than normal. Do 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 do. While that's doing that, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change this to Independent Scentsy Consultant. And I want it one line, so we're going to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. I always put a space in front of these when I copy them, because I want to make sure I get all the glow and everything in there. Alright, so there's the Scentsy logo. I'm going to go ahead and edit, paste a new image, and that'll bring in my Independent Scentsy Consultant. But let's go back to the logo. So if we go into resize on this, it's 2400 and the resolution is 300 pixels per inch, which is amazing if you're printing this, but we're not printing it, so we don't need it 300. I'm not going to worry about it being 300 though. I'm going to go ahead and just change this to like 350. Maintain aspect ratio is checked, so that's going to make this whole thing a lot smaller. Then I can grab it and I can come back and stick it on here, edit, paste a new layer, and there's my logo that I can stick down here wherever I want to stick it. This is still too big because it's too close to the edge and everything. It needs to have that small S space around it. So I need to make it a little bit smaller so that it fits. And I'd put it down there. But like I said, sometimes I just don't use the Scentsy logo because it's too much of a pain in the butt to get all of the rules perfect, and there's always going to be somebody that doesn't agree that you got the rules perfect. So we're going to go ahead and delete that, and we're just going to put the Independent Scentsy Consultant writing on it. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to crop this, and then I'm going to resize it, and we're going to make it 900 so it'll fit nice and neat at the bottom. So now I'm going to grab it again, paste a new layer, and then I can bring it down here. Oops, I didn't grab it. And I'm going to put it down here at the bottom. Now I can make this a little bit bigger here. So I'm just going to, if you hold shift, it'll keep the size. So a lot of times when I'm doing this, I'm holding shift. If I just grab this corner and pull, then it'll distort the size of it, which is what I did with it up here. Alright, so we've got apple butter frosting, apple crush, crisp orchard air, baked apple pie, custard apple, and apple s'mores. I'm going to come into Word, and I'm going to type all those out again. Apple butter frosting. See if I can remember them. Oops. I want it to stay in that same font that I had. So alright, so now I've got all of my my scents, and I always, like I said, I put a space at the beginning of all of these so that I get, like if I have a big glow on there, it'll sometimes cut the end of the glow off. I don't know why. I'm going to copy it, come back here, edit, paste in new image, and again I paste in new image simply so I can crop it, and because you can see how big this is. This is huge compared to my picture. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to crop to selection, and then I'm going to resize, and I'm going to make this, I want it probably 600 because it's about half of the space that I have. copy. And you cannot right click in paint.net. I can't right click and tell it to copy. So you have to come up to edit, copy, and edit, paste every time. So paste in new layer. And I'm going to put those right there. Alright, so there's my flyer. Alright, so now I've got all my different layers. If I want to come edit, like if I post this and one of you guys come in and say, hey, you spelled orchard wrong, then I can come in here and I can just go to layer 6 and I can delete this part and retype orchard and put it in there, and I don't have to change the whole flyer. Once I've taken it out of paint.net, if I don't save this as a ping, it's going to flatten it and it's going to make it a JPEG, which then at that point it's a lot harder for me to edit. So if you see typos, tell me right away. But we're going to go ahead and image flatten this, and then I can take the whole thing, so maybe file, save as, and we're going to go into my pictures and Scentsy, and not bars, I want 6-packs, and we're going to name it Apple Lover, and I'm going to change it to a JPEG because that's what I have to post it as on Facebook. And then I'm going to come back in here to Facebook and I'm going to say, hey everybody, Apple Lover bundle, and I'm going to paste it. Oh, see what it did right there? It only copied that last thing, so we're going to hit upload photos instead of paste. 6-packs. Sorry, I have a lot of Scentsy folders, guys. And then post it. And now you guys will be able to see this. So that's all for that one. Sorry, it was 22 minutes. Hopefully you learned something though.